let's go into our StarCraft 2. As we have to the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player. Give it up if you're going to be cheering on Kua in this series. From Jin Air Green Wings, kind of the underdog of the playoffs almost, I would say. But is showing up once again in these online events and showing us why he really is one of the very best Terrans out in Korea. I'm looking for his second Masters Coliseum Championship. Won Masters Coliseum number 4. Can he continue this run? We have got soO in the bottom right-hand side, a red Zerg player. So Mars Bar coming in with the 7-month resub to get things underway at the start of today. Thank you so much for the 7 months. Hope you are having a good time. And thanks for the 7-month resub. Do appreciate it. Alright, so we're getting this going in some ZvT. It's just one best of 7 a day. This is it, Grand Finals. I'm not usually a fan of just doing like one series in a day, but if the tournament organizer tells us we're doing one best of 7, we're doing one best of 7. You know, there's not much to be said about that. So let's hope for some good games. Let's hope for some good matches. Let's get some hype in here. Tell your friends. Bring up your families. Be like, hey mom, I'm watching soO Kua. And she can be like, what the fuck is that? And you can be like, it's this sick series going on twitch.tv/Wardy. And she'll just hang up the phone and be like, God, we raised a fucking nutter. And, you know, at least you tried, right? That's what counts. Trying, getting everyone to watch this series, because this should be good, honestly. Again, the way these guys have been playing up until this point, I think soO is really. I mean, it's so sad he got knocked out of GSL because he really is actually, I feel like, in tip-top shape at the moment and really can do so well and really can take down almost anybody, I think, at the moment as well. Just those GSL groups are absolutely brutal, and best of threes, close matches. I mean, anything can happen sometimes. As we do see the Reaper popping forwards. A couple of lanes and a few drones going to be coming through and trying to see just a little bit of what might be going on here. A little bit of back and forth action for the moment, as we do have the natural CC just coming up. So a very typical setup from both players, as Reaper does in the end find one single Zerg and the Queen pops out, and that should be a good defense to push that Reaper away up to the right side. And to the right side where actually this hatchery is getting set up, so third hatch coming down over there as this Reaper now comes back through into the center of the map. The Queen still looking to see what it can maybe do here, going to try and push that Reaper away, and it will get pushed away just a little bit further. Now we have 3 Zerglings up the left, so all said and done so far, as link speed kicks in, this Reaper wants to be heading home anyways. It wants to go and join up with those Hellions. Keeping the Reaper alive can give you a lot of different benefits. It can be that grenade, which can change a game. It can stop the Lings from chasing you as easily. It can be the extra little bit of damage you need to pick up a kill. So really nice to make sure this Reaper doesn't go down. But Kua's still keeping it on this side of the map. Obviously, he just isn't afraid of the couple of Zerglings that are out. And they are actually positioned to the left here. They might be able to run by and get an SCV or two. This third base, or this natural expansion, sorry, is completely unprotected. And the Overlord does see the Hellions moving, so he knows they have now moved out. And boom, 1 link onto the supply depot and 2 links onto the mineral line. And this should be, he probably won't delay the supply depot actually, but it is a nice guaranteed SCV kill because it is really far out there. Unless he stops the, going for the SCV, unless he stops building the supply depot, in which case he delays the supply depot. Hellions do run by for 4 worker kills at the same time, though, that Reaper joining up with them. That's not bad, considering it's just the first 2 Hellions. In fact, that's rather good for only 2 Hellions right away, 4 drones. And it definitely makes up for a little bit of the lost mining over here. So, overall, I'd say both players are pretty happy with this scenario. We haven't seen, masses of drones being burned on down. We haven't seen, too much delay over here. The Lings didn't cause too much disruption. So I think both players will be fairly happy that this has been a pretty standard setup. In the end, Kua, he's on 4 Hellions now. Obviously, that means he's built 6 in total. And 6 is generally the kind of level you stop at. Sometimes if you lose the first 2, you'll then build up to 6 anyway, so you've built 8 in total. That's 200 extra minerals, and that's 200 extra minerals that then take away from your timing of the 3rd CC, which eventually takes away from the timing of the 2nd and 3rd barracks. And those are all things that actually add up quite heavily in the game of TVZ, in a matchup where you want to be applying a lot of pressure from the very start, and you want to be able to kind of keep that pressure up at tight timings. You need that, you need those barracks to get the Marines out to clean up creep at the right time. So, yeah, just, I think it's smart just to stick on the 4 Hellions for here. Obviously, there are builds that go into a lot more than 4 6 Hellions, right? But obviously, those builds kind of come into, kind of think about the fact that, hey, look, we're going to be delaying the barracks. We're going to be delaying the 3rd CC that little bit. So, it's definitely something to Keep in mind as we have a couple of Marines chasing down an Overseer over here. So Overseer is getting chased away, going to go through the natural expansion of another couple of Marines just sitting on the low ground, by the way. And continue to dish out some hurt. 2 Queens of soO coming over to the right, and Secure will get pushed away up to the top. And again, this Overseer pushed down the left-hand side as well, as we have a couple of Engineering Bays from Cure about to finish up 1-1 upgrades on the way out. Getting this ready to go. Still a bunch of Hellions moving here through the center of the map. So they're kind of gathering up together. You have 2 Banshees on the bottom, by the way. These Banshees have been pretty active so far. They've picked up a few kills, but I mean, I think this is kind of their 6th drone now. Okay, 5 drones they've killed because there's 4 drones dead earlier to the Hellions. So yeah, mostly just picking up some kills outside of those drones, and so haven't been super influential. I mean, nice to really keep the 2 Banshees alive, because obviously now they can pull back. Look at soO, by the way. I didn't really talk about what soO's doing, but it is very strange. A 630 Hive, Hydraless Den, Building Groove Spines. This is a hell of a weird build for TVZ. I mean, this is just not your ordinary go-to at all. I mean, what has soO seen? Has he seen anything? I mean, he knows it's bio, so he absolutely is sure of what he's doing, playing this Roach Hydra. I guess Roach Hydra Viper style, right? It's kind of almost a bit old school, because you don't really see Roach Hydra like this against Terran anymore. You know, if you go Roaches, you usually say, oh, well, let's change it into Ling Bane. Or maybe you get Roach Hydra with Ling Bane support. But this is like straight up Roach Hydra, and with that super fast Hive, he'll get himself the Vipers to help him deal with the Siege tanks very early on. So, intrigued to see. I mean, I wonder if this just works out as something like a Viper 1-1 timing. That's almost like a big all-in, because he's just so committed to everything that he builds. Especially drops come in deflected quite nicely. I mean, as Cure here, you see the Roaches, you see a Hydra mixed in there as well, and you've got to be wondering a little bit of, okay, well, that's a bit weird. Wow, a Spire, is he just really going to try and go into Broodlord super fast as well? I mean, you have to go Vipers first, I think. You need that extra layer of safety to make this army work, which is why he probably didn't start the Spire at the same time as the Hive, because he knows he'll need a little while before that Spire is done, before he morphs it into a greater Spire. So yeah, I'd imagine this is going to be Vipers when he gets unsupply blocked here. Nice supply block by picking off a few Overlords. Cure controlling the map of these drops at the moment. So we're going to see a few bio units up to the top, a few bio units down to the bottom left. There's a Marine stimming in, picking off an Overlord right here as well. Again, there's those Vipers that we were talking about. I mean, the Vipers can also be used if you abduct in the Medivacs into the Hydras. That's going to guarantee kills on these drops as well. Definitely a possibility of what we could see out of this here. Ah, very, very different style of game from soO to start off on Cyber Forest. Not quite how you usually expect things to start. Yeah, loving the change-up, actually. Just really gives us a lot to talk about. Very interested to see if soO can actually make this work out at all. So he actually started another Spire. Now, I have to feel that the second Spire is almost a mistake, right? Can you really afford another Spire right now? He morphs in a greater Spire. Okay, he cancels the other one, so he knows. He must have thought he forgot it, but then he's just found it. So it was just a bit of a mistake there. I was going to say, like, there's no way you can afford, like, double Spire upgrades or something this early into the game, right? Because those are kind of upgrades you go for when you're already maxing out, because then you have money gathering in the bank. You know, this is not a game where soO is already maxing out at all. In fact, he's been very, again, tech-heavy. I think it's just, I mean, does Cure just push with 2-2? He does go into that 4th base before he added on the factory, before he added on any extra barracks. So it looks like Cure is going to be pretty happy to sit back on 4 bases, and just to let the kind of the macro kind of way of things take control for a little while here. On the left-hand side, Marine's going to look to see what else can be done. Marines and Marauders picking up some creep spread on the far right-hand side. That's one thing Cure's done very well this game. He's been consistently denying this creep spread and just keeping soO. I mean, soO has decent creep spread still, right? But it's not out of control creep spread, so he's just being kind of kept back to his own, not quite corner of the map. I mean, it is towards the halfway point here in the center, but it gives Cure a lot of room to move around. And this push down the left-hand side can come in all the way off of creep, by the way, so that's really nice. As soO doesn't actually know about that push at all. This is kind of a blind spot on the map for him. And it's actually going to get into a very dangerous position, because obviously this hatchery will go down, and then you get into the high ground, this hatchery is then in a lot of trouble. The Banshee gets picked off as the Hydras and the Overseers do their job. Well, a couple of Vipers are ready to go. I tell you what, the first Broodlords are morphing in, and obviously I don't think Q is really ready for Broodlords at all just yet. I imagine that soO is just going to take his time as, again, the extra Broods are morphing. Already 4 of them coming forwards. This is actually crazy, the fact he already has Broodlords to try and shut down this 2-2 attack. So here we go. Broods are going to fire. They just soak up so much damage here. Great Blinding Cloud affects the bio units as well, so it doesn't just stop the tanks firing. It also forces the bio to kind of keep running forwards if you leave it to its own devices there. And those Broodlords are just currently untouchable, I tell you that. As we see the bio all clumped up. Another nice Blinding Cloud actually takes away a lot of effectiveness here. Another nice Blinding Cloud on top of some Siege Tanks in the background as well. Can he get rid of those Siege Tanks here? They're going to come out of Blinding Cloud, and there's 3 of them that are just going to do so much damage. But I think soO is going to make this defense happen. Wow, that's so crazy. The fact he already has Broodlords up is just actually wow. I mean, again, this was a style that was played a much longer ago. I can't recall having seen this style recently. Maybe it was used in GSL or something somewhere that I just haven't caught the game of, but my god, that was actually a real sick ult. And those Broodlords were, bang on time. Imagine he had forgotten his Spire. When he started to build a second Spire and then he realized it and cancelled it. Imagine that was his Spire. That's probably a game-ending moment if his Spire was actually that late. Because again, those Broodlords are absolutely critical to holding on here because they keep that bio at bay. I mean, all of it was critical. The Blinding Clouds were very well done as well. There's a nice counterattack from Q, though. And soO is going to get damage done, but it will be losing the third base. And just too much bio for him to deal with over here. And Siege Tanks on the high ground getting picked off as we see. Well, it's just, a huge fight from soO. Everything he has going towards the natural. There goes the right-hand side base. The left-hand side base will fall as well. He's still, okay, he's starting to get units up and reinforcements to come and deal with this, but they're going to be popping out all over the place. So you need to try and gather those together. The one great thing here is just for soO, how is Q ever going to clean up that larger army? I don't think he does. So while, yes, this is painful for soO on this side of the map, Q isn't exactly doing much better in terms of holding off this army back on the other side. And again, especially as a couple of extra units are lost, we can see these roaches coming out to defend this, and that's going to be that drop cleaned up. And when that gets cleaned up, Q has really not much left at all. He has now, what, 3 Vikings out? There's Hydras, there's Vipers, there's Queens. There's so much protection for those Broodlords. Still just some Broods firing on that Planetary. soO's going to realize that they should probably come over here, and he is going to bring them back over to the top side as soO picks up game number 1 of this best of 7. Game number 2. As we get this underway to the top left-hand side, our blue Terran down a map. I think more than anything, kind of just caught off guard by what happened in that first game. And I think very easily fixed by just having some better scouting and realizing, okay, I kind of see what you're doing this time around. Because Q did just sort of sit back and drop and not really figure out that Broodlords were on the way up. And that was where the big problem began. Top left, Q, our blue Terran player. Up against the red Zerg in the lower right, we have from Chivo Esports soO. Very excited to see what comes out of this as we get this underway. Again, how's everyone doing in the chat? Let me know who you're cheering for in this series as well. Would love to hear from you guys. Are we cheering on soO? Are we cheering on Q? Do you guys just want to see 7 full games? Because, that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see this go to 7 maps. I want to have a nice long best of 7 here for this single best of 7 that we're going to cast. So let me know what's up. Let me know what's happening. Again, like I was just saying, a very full week of StarCraft 2 ahead of us. I'm casting the WardiTV Summer Championship qualifiers begin tomorrow. So make sure you come and check those out. There should be a lot of fun as we set up for the Summer Championship to play out over the next month or 2. So this week we have Summer Championship European qualifiers 1, 2, and 3 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Friday and Thursday and Saturday we have Summer Championship qualifiers for Korea. With on Sunday we're going to be having our first ever, also starting this week, our first ever edition of StarCraft Sundays. Myself and Take TV taking it upon ourselves to replace the good old Go4 SD2 that shut down a couple months ago. So our first ever edition of StarCraft Sundays this Sunday, 4 p.m. CEST. Make sure you come and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be there. It's going to be fab. Really looking forward to bringing you guys StarCraft Sundays. It should be fantastic. So to get this set up, we do have our Reaper coming through the center of the map. Looking to get some damage done. Obviously, SCV was just scouting as well, so just knows that this was you know, what this opening was. He knows it's actually a pool first, and yet he is still going across the map with the Reaper. That's because he made a second Reaper! Makes perfect sense. Only 2 Lings were made as well, so as these go down, the second Reaper can come across the map and deal even further damage. So yeah, obviously difficult to control both Reapers at the same time, because they do take a lot of attention. You need to constantly micro those through. Yeah, we're going to have 2 of them together, and that should really increase the amount you can get done here. Looks like Q is a little afraid of more Lings, though, so he is still going to keep this other Reaper at home. And just uses this one very passively to hold this third base location. Try and slow down a hatchery from being thrown down there. So again, a few Zerglings coming in towards the upper left-hand side. We're going to be moving through in towards the main base in the next few moments. An orbital command on this natural going to start morphing in an SCV. Again, just going to see that factory loading up. Going to move over, drop down a reactor, and start up another couple of Hellions. So a couple of Hellions coming through as the Zerglings starting to move up this ramp. They're going to get turned around by the Reaper and the Hellion, though, so Reaper and the Hellion are going to start dealing some more damage here. A couple of Zerglings getting picked away at, and actually these Zerglings will continue to fall over the next few moments. Third Command Center on the way up in the main, so it's a pretty fast 3cc. Secure, not really messing around there at all, and he goes into a fusion core with it, so he's going to go into that battle cruiser opening. So using the battle cruisers to harass and to try and deal some damage here in these early stages. So getting that ready to go, as we do have the fusion core just about halfway done. And again, a couple of Hellions secure, just coming down the front here, going to sit around in the natural. Supply depot drops down to help kind of wall off this forward area. Again, a few more Zerglings coming down to the bottom just to again see what's going on. Those couple of Lings chasing down these Hellions already starting to get some decent damage done, and they actually will get both of those kills. So nice little cleanup from soO so far here as he throws down the lair. Pretty standard timing for the lair, but I do wonder if actually yeah, I do wonder if actually maybe it's just a little... Is it going to be like the same style as before? Is that what I'm kind of mostly wondering? But then he takes extra gases, so he goes up to free gas. It kind of could just be like a hydrogen, but we see not even a Roachwarren yet. He says he summons the Roachwarren. Okay, well, just wait for this battle cruiser. Let's see what this is going to get up to, because they can obviously deal quite a bit of damage here. And soO is on 5 queens, it's going up to 7, so you should have enough. It's going to be the Yamato cannon build, so there's one of the battle cruiser openings where you do invest into Yamato cannon, and you do get yourself set up into kind of that, you know, multiple battle cruisers then essentially. And with 4 gases, this looks like it will be a mech follow-up as well. So looks like we're going to be having a mech style out of Kua here on King's Cove. Definitely one of the maps where it's harder to play bio because the bases are very close together. It's very hard to pull your opponent apart. Queens are going to have to be pulled into this defense against the Hellions. The Ling's going to try and maybe buy some time there, but they don't quite get the block off. No creep between the natural and the main, and so yeah, Hellions are going to get into this mineral line, but only 3 of them alive by the time they get here. They spent so long killing off those Zerglings. So actually turns out to be a very good defense from soO. Only 3 drones lost, and obviously the Zerglings too. And it is a Spire actually out of soO, and he drops that down to the 3rd base, which is the one location we actually haven't seen Kua go, although he comes in now with the battle cruiser, so you will see that Spire again. Yamato cannon not done yet, but when it is done, it will be able to target that queen or so, or target a queen. Generally, you're going to look to Yamato, the queen of the highest energy, get rid of any transfuse potential. You're going to see a bit of a Ling counterattack coming across, because he did just clean up the Hellions, but there is more Hellions coming out, and they should be able to hold this on, although we'll see how much damage will be done before then. You know, the battlecruiser has already picked up 9-10 drones and still counting, making his way out through this bottom side now. So 13 drones lost from soO and 4 SCVs killed on the other side of the map. It feels very successful from Kua, because obviously this battlecruiser backs away. BC number 2 is coming up right about now. We're going to have these, you know, a 3rd BC as well. So this is, again, the style of mech where you're just going to keep building battlecruisers. And those battlecruisers can do so much for you, because with the battlecruisers in play, you actually always have a very mobile, because of the teleport, way of harassing bases, and a very sturdy way of harassing bases. This next battlecruiser actually just teleports in, because again, you have two Yamatos, so you can shut down. I mean, this super high energy Kreen, that's 3 transfusions that will never actually get to go off here, basically, if he finds the Yamatos onto them. Looks like now they're going to back away, though. He does know that there was a Spire, so maybe it's actually a very smart choice to back away right now, because Corrupt is on the way up. So soO plays kind of a Roach Corruptor style. What's going to happen, the goal is obviously use the Corruptors to try and fight against the Battle Cruisers, use the Roaches to fight against the Mech Army, etc. But a lot of this kind of depends on the Roaches counterattacking and kind of working their way around these armies and working their way around the Battle Cruisers especially to try and get things done. A few SCVs pulled in to repair up this BC. This Battle Cruiser is going to get a little bit of repairs going on. And obviously just get that back to full health. We're going to have 3 BCs together soon. And actually, they may all just be, in 10 seconds, they're going to be able to all jump together. So they might just all go across the map at the same time as we see a 4th base starting up. Just again, down on location for Cure. Why the heck not? Queen just pulls back and does get the transfuse to save itself against a little bit of Hellion Cyclone harassment. We actually don't see Magfield Accelerator, by the way, so no upgrade on those Cyclones just yet. Means they'll kill the Roaches pretty slowly in comparison to what you might be expecting to see. So, obviously that's because a lot of the gas he's still going into. I mean, he's going into double upgrades. He's still building Battle Cruisers as well. So Q is just very kind of heavy on what he's building with gas. And so, investing in towards the Blue Flame, investing in towards the Magfield Accelerator, it's probably just gas that he can't yet spare. But as he gets up to 4 bases, that should be gas that he then has available to invest into those upgrades. So yeah, this Hellbat Battlecruiser army just hanging out overhead. We do see a little bit of an army coming through. Well, let's see how this is going to go as we see the Corruptors coming straight in for the BC. They line up some Yamatos, SCVs pulling to try and repair this BC. They will teleport out, and obviously as it teleports out, it should be able to repair up for a little while in safety. Another BC having to teleport here. Missile turret actually picking up a kill on a Corruptor as well, though. Those tanks doing a very good job of holding back the Roach Ravager force. And if the Planetary Fortress on the low ground, this wasn't actually built on the low ground, by the way. This would have been real bad. Like, if this wasn't built on the low ground, this probably doesn't stay up at all. And maybe this isn't going to be a hold from Q either, because those few extra seconds actually allowed it to be a planetary in time for this attack. So that's really nice. Really good defense from Q here. Teleports the BCs back, gets them repaired, doesn't lose a single really important unit here. I mean, he lost a couple Cyclones this game, 3 tanks, but no battle cruisers lost. You know, everything else is very replaceable, considering we just saw soO losing a lot of Corruptor Roach Ravager. And in fact, I mean, the Corruptor count is really low now. He lost, what, 7 Corruptors there? So 7 Corruptors down. He's rebuilding 5, so he's going to have less Corruptors going into round 2 of this against an extra battle cruiser. Yamatos are going to be off cooldown for the most part as well. Those are pretty much just instant kills on these Corruptors. There are Queens coming in now too, but this is just an absolute all-in from soO. He was actually up on, what, like 93 workers? Might be a bit too many for what he's actually in for here. There's the turnaround from the BCs. Oh, doesn't have a teleport to bring this one out, though, so BC is still in a little bit of trouble. It's a lot of Roach Ravager on the ground. The Planetary Force will help once again. As we see, just those few Corruptors. I just don't feel there's enough damage on the Battle Cruisers anymore, though. They have +1 vehicle plating as well. And because of that, they're able to take so many more shots. And so these 3 just don't seem to be going down at all. Another Yamato. Now it's just 2 Corruptors. And again, I just don't think those are the numbers you need in this. As soon as the Corruptors go down, the BCs can just focus up so much more easily on, you know, getting rid of, you know, Roaches and Ravagers. Will the BC survive, actually? Because there goes one of them. The Queens have been absolutely huge in this fight. The transfusions on those Corruptors have been extremely impressive. They've been consistently non-stop just going down. 1 Corruptor left. The BC's pulling back again. Q just needs to try and find some repairs on them BCs, and he should be okay. Cyclone's helping now to lock on to this. A lot of this army that remains is only Roaches and Queens, no Ravagers any longer, for example. And soO continues to send units, reinforcements straight across the map. And he's just maxing up on whatever he can. A few more siege tanks coming in again. Q's lost a lot of workers, but because he was on 90+ workers and soO was on 65 to all in here, he's actually kind of okay with the workers that he's lost so far, as long as he can, in the end, turn this army around. And VCs are going to have Yamatos up again, so the VCs are going to be able to get rid of these Queens and that Corruptor very easily. And when those Queens and that Corruptor go down, again, the VCs are just going to help so much with continuing to defend this. More SCVs going down, but a siege tank line is going to hold off the Roaches as well. And I think Q is going to make a hold here as we have, again, the last couple of units on this top side going down. Surprised the VCs didn't throw down. Okay, they did throw down. Sorry, didn't throw down Yamato, which I was a bit surprised about. And soO will type out GG as Q. Those replays. So our time is over because we're going into Kairos Junction. To the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran player. This is Q. And at the top left, our red Zerg, it's soO from Chivo. That game wasn't over. Yeah, it really was. soO was extremely all in. Like, he was +1 missiles, no intention of going into further upgrades. He was, playing Roach Ravager, no further tech enabled. And so, he has a Spire that he can't really use because, I mean, the BCs are already just overwhelming him. He doesn't have the right amount of gases. He doesn't have the right amount of drones to continue through. I mean, the SCVs that he killed put Kyo down to equal worker count. And then Kyo beyond there had an extra base up over soO. So I think, soO knows that that attack he made was very all-in, and he knows that when it didn't work, and it wasn't even like, obviously he killed a lot of SCVs, etc., but I wouldn't say it was ever close to working, right? It's not like he was like, oh, he nearly killed him here, in which case maybe he can transition. In fact, overall, Kyo is just actually very comfortable, I think, because his reinforcements are coming out, and when you're only streaming further Roaches across the map, there's no Ravagers in that army anymore, there's no Corruptors, the Roaches aren't going to do anything extra, and he has no gas to build up anything nice, better than Roaches. And so then the game just continues with Kyo. He sends the Cyclones across the map, he's going to do a lot of harassment, the Roaches aren't going to do very well, and, eventually Kyo is just going to win it out very easily, I think. He also lost all of his Queens as well, right? So that's also a big negative. Means there's even less to defend the BCs if they teleport across the map aggressively. That game was... That game, I think, was very, very done for. When you look at the... I just don't see what soO does in the next minute or two of that game to realistically say, yeah, I'm going to get back in this. And you got to remember that these guys, these players, in a match like this one, they look at this and they say, well, sometimes it's just not worth, wearing myself out a little bit. Let's get into the next game, get my next game plan going, keep myself fresh. Because these are 7 games that are going to happen, one game, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to go game after game. And yeah, those guys are used to it, but no doubt that, you will stay a little bit sharper if you don't waste your time around. Hanging around in games trying to survive when you don't really need to. Or when you can't, I suppose. Alright, so just going to see this Reaper going down in the back of this Natural. So that's actually a big loss. Now, we'll see if soO wants to do something with that. When the Reaper goes down like this, as Kyo gets a bit too greedy, you can often see a Zerg just throw workers back in gas, throw down the Roach Roaring in the main base, and just set yourself up into a all-in across the map. Because when you go across the map, you can definitely... you can definitely catch the Terran off guard. They've got no way to scout that coming very easily. So then the Terran has to play either overly safe, or they have a good chance of just dying to your attack. So it can be losing the Reaper is obviously pretty tough. As we do see the couple Lings wandering around, a couple of Hellions are hanging out here as well. The Lings will turn back away. Starport comes over, takes a tech lab. Cloak will start. Again, third hatchery going to be completing in the next few moments. And that Roach Roaring dropping down at the front here from soO. And that's set up and ready to go as Cloak coming in on the Starport. And again, the few Hellions heading up to the top side of the map. I'm actually going to start running on by here a little bit. Queen's going to be able to get one of those Hellions. The Lings coming in to help again, push these Hellions back. Across the map, actually, 2 Zerglings are going to get 3 SCVs so far. Man, that's so nice from soO. What a defense. Kills 4 SCVs with 2 Zerglings and completely denies the Hellion attack at the front. Not a great start in the early moments of this game from Kyo, as he is just going into a pretty fast stim, but this is all seen by soO as well, right? Getting up into the main base, a full scout, sees the Cloak Banshees, sees the stim pack on the barracks. Complete information as to what's going on, as we do see that Lair coming up at the same time he's been going for in each of the games so far. So really sticking to this similar sort of timing, and it's kind of a Roach-esque style. And she coming through and able to get a little bit of damage done. Again, Lair going to be finishing in a few moments from soO, as we do see the Zerglings pressing forwards. A couple of Roaches going to turn back away over to the left. Here's another Banshee heading towards the upper left-hand side. Try and see what else is going to happen. Again, a few extra drones just coming out here, and And a couple of workers just getting picked off by this Banshee, which is in the end going to turn back away. Watch that Overseer come through. Stimpak going to finish in a few moments. A couple more Marines on the way out. And the third CC from Cure finally finishing up. I mean, the Banshees so far, a couple of workers still alive is the most important thing, because then 2 Banshees together can maybe get some more damage done. But it already kind of feels soO is just feeling so safe here. He's up to 60 drones, still droning. Again, he goes +1/+1 missile upgrades with a Roach Roaring up and running. So we're not seeing any kind of Ling Bane game at all here from soO in the first 3 maps. Just Roach styles. Again, it isn't really kind of in the meta game at all at the moment to play these kind of Roach heavy styles, so it is a little bit interesting as we do see this Queen going to get shot down. So this is why 2 Banshees together can get a lot done, so nice to keep the first Banshee alive for that reason in particular. And the Spore is just a little bit further towards the top and the right here than it is the left, so the Banshee's able to do quite well. He does turn for one more drone, which costs him the life of one of the Banshees. The Banshee will just escape and sit in the corner of the map for the moment. No, it comes back in. No! Okay, Banshee will get picked off. And we are going to be seeing the aggression of Cure then will be pretty much halted for the moment. Now, Stim is done, so as the first 2 medevacs pop, we will see a little bit of a drop across the map. That's when you're going to start cleaning out some of this creep spread. But it does already begin to feel as though a lot of this kind of Roach-based army is kind of already set to go across the map, as we see Marines, medevacs. They're going to be coming out here, and we're going to be seeing a couple of creep tumors getting picked off. Another barracks dropping down. Now, honestly, soO was in position, so like he lost like 1 creep tumor or something. Really not a lot gained by Cure. Cure's in a bit of trouble here. Now we do see soO his transition now. It's going to be a Baneling there, so he is going to end up on Ling Bane. So he's going to play Ling Bane Roach. As an Infestation Pit drops as well, he'll be looking towards that Hive Tech, I imagine, because with a Roach-based style, he'll know that Cure wants to stick to siege tanks. And obviously the Infestation Pit to go into Hive, get up in towards Vipers. I mean, Vipers do very well against those siege tanks, and oftentimes will save you, when otherwise the siege tank army would just be a little bit too much. I mean, shoot down that Changeling coming forwards as well. And again, this Queen here just backing away quite a bit. A couple of creep tumors going down pretty quickly. Marines going to find themselves a Queen. Overseer has shot down too. These Roaches and Ravagers going to be able to turn this medevac drop away. Only, I mean, it's all 16 Marines that could get away, so nice save there by Cure as he pulls back up to the top side of the map. Well then, as Cure comes out through the center of the map with this little bit of Bio or Hellbat, pulling back a little bit down to this bottom right side, another couple Marauders setting up. We have a lot of Ling Bane setting up into the middle of the map here, so soO again set up with a lot of this. This Bio comes through, gets quite a few creep tumors already. Those Medivac's going to lift up, head on over to the right hand side. Again, more Bio. Going to press to the top, is going to find a hatchery kill. Good pick off. Bio continues to pull back away. Have a little lift up with these Marines, and they're going to be heading up in towards the main base where they're going to unload, and this Overlord is going to get taken down. So, Overlord will flop. Sporecrawler being targeted for a moment there as well. This Bio actually trades out pretty well against a lot of Zerglings there until it lifts up, and is going to try and deny this base from coming down, but I mean, units already in position, and soO will be able to expand here. soO already has, by the way, 4 bases down the left side, a 5th base in the bottom corner. I mean, Cure, what is your plan here, buddy? Because as that 4th base comes up, again, we're only on 5 racks, so if you go for the 2-2 timing, you're kind of setting up for the later stage of the game, but it feels like when soO already has this much control, how good are you going to do in that later stage of the game? And soO gets the Vipers up. I wonder if he tries to do something aggressive. Love this drop, by the way. Great target fire on Banelings, just really maximizing the efficiency of the armies here. We've seen Cure continue over the left-hand side, and well, this is going to be his first kind of larger push now. 2-2 not done just yet though, so you'll want to wait a moment or so for that. Actually, both the Roaches and Melee units both only have +1 attack, so he did switch up upgrades halfway through, and that is going to cost him a little bit of damage output here for soO. Those tanks, man, they just absolutely ravaged that Baneland line, which was trying to push forwards. I mean, off of creep, slow Banes, all of it clumped up. There's Scan missing, there's one creep team that's maintaining this little patch of creep spread here now. Oops. Frozen Valve's coming down, picking up a siege tank. Splitting away a little bit. Yeah, Bioforce still doing pretty well trading out here. Feels like soO's army just isn't really ready to fight yet. We actually see the Ultra Cavern coming down this time, so one single Viper into the Ultra Cavern. But I mean, Ultras are going to take a while to get set up. He starts kiting his plane. He is about to have Adrenal Glands. But yeah, I mean, how do you afford Ultras and get them out without dying to this push? It's not going to be easy. Well, big counterattack's definitely one way to make things happen, and we'll get 2 siege tanks right away. And this mineral line obviously looks like it's going to be in quite some trouble as we see Banelands crashing through. Well, now let's see how soO can continue to defend this larger attack as his 4th base is in trouble. Could give up this base. He is mining from the top side. He's got the bottom left as well. Problem is, if you give up this base, do you just lose the bottom left here, and then you're kind of down on 4 bases anyway. Okay, soO's going to go for this here. One blinding cloud on the tank in the back, and here's the last tank to go down. As gets out of the blinding clouds with his bio, will turn to fight a little bit. Reinforcements coming over. Imagine he had the extra siege tanks here, which he lost to that run by. Maybe then this is still very scary, but now soO has done what I thought was going to be very tough, which is buying enough time to get Ultras on the map. And those 3 Ultralisks, well, they are on the way, and it looks like they will come up here rather easily. You see the bio going to be fighting against a whole bunch of these Zerglings. Good split on the high ground and very good position. And again, maybe soO didn't need to run into that right away there. Ultras are going to do great if they don't have anything to support them. You know, the Bane's kind of meant to force those units to run away and not, purely be able to target fire the Ultras. Ravage is obviously very fragile on their own as well. A lot more siege tanks showing up, and maybe Kua still has this as he continues to press forward. This high ground position, this is why Kairos is constantly kind of thought of as a bit of a Terran favored map. These ledges and positions you can take as the Terran. Well, here are the Ultras though, running on through, about to get +3 Carapace in a moment as well, going to make them even stronger. You'll see them turning away right there. Is there any other queens? There's only 3 queens on the map, so he doesn't even really want to bring those to transfuse those Ultras. Now Liberator's showing up as well. He does have Corrosive Bars to get rid of those, but I feel like in the long run, actually, he doesn't really have enough to get rid of the Liberators. If more Liberators come up, for whatever reason, the Liberators are just refusing to siege, however, and so he loses a couple more siege tanks. The Ultra is able to make a play up to the high ground. Here now, turning back around, we see the Liberators continue to siege up. This hatchery will go down, so soO's been trying to hold this position for a while. I wonder if now it is just time to turn away and to not commit into this. You just find Bals onto one of those Liberators. Now the base is already gone. How important is this position for soO? Apparently very important. He still wants to keep fighting here despite the lack of creep. And again, he doesn't really have creep anywhere on the map. Even in the center, it's very lackluster. Another Liberator gets taken down here. Blinding Cloud hits the siege tank in the background. So a lot of that damage is taken away, but there's only one Ultra left, and it can't find its way through the Ravagers for a while. Gets hit by some Corrosive Bars as it tries to make its way in. And it's just the Ravagers that are left standing here as Kua's reinforcements are continuing to come forwards. These Ravagers will start to go down. Corrosive Bars just don't all quite reach that siege tank in the back. 2 more Ultras though from soO will be able to turn this away, and all of a sudden Kua will not have enough to hold on. The 2 extra Ultras, a huge turning point in this ongoing fight. And finally Kua is pushed back over to the right hand side. Alright, damn. Well, Plan B Fortress set up here from Kua in the center. Another command center on the bottom left. Bio from Kua going to move into the top, and he's going to find a couple of group teamers here already. And again, Kua just able to pick up some damage there as we see even more Zerglings coming up to the top side. 2 more Ultras on the way. And SCVs going down as well. There's Zergling making short work of a couple SCVs on the map. Bio loads up into the Medivacs, and we do see the Lings, Banes, Ravagers, and Ultras all heading down to the bottom. We see the Lings just trying to push through on towards the Bio there. Not quite successful with that, as we see. Meanwhile, as well, missile turret on the way up. Kua. soO has kind of got an army to fight with, and I gotta say, Kua was starting to build Liberators, and I love that part of his play, but now he doesn't have that. He's also got no free upgrades. Which is, it's weird because it's not like he's all in on like 4 bases or something, right? I mean, he's got 5-6 bases coming up, so I'm very surprised by his lack of continued upgrades, by not building more Liberators. He even has gas, so I'm extremely surprised to see Kua kind of playing the way he is. I love this expansion over here, by the way, looking to set up a steady force to kind of, or a steady position to push forwards from. Man, he's just really sure he can do this with kind of siege tanks and so on, but, well, I mean, it is mostly the Ultras that are the problem, right? He's got a good setup against the Ultras with so many Marauders, but especially, I mean, there's no reason not to have +3 attack. As Lings sweep in from the right-hand side, that's going to be the problem when you see a few more Lings coming through. Kua's army doesn't stand up so well against it because it is like siege tank Marauder. And you need it to be, super Marauder heavy and not as many Marines, because you don't have any better way to deal with the Ultras. Whereas if you have the Libs, you can have a few more Marines. If you have a few more Marines, you can deal with the Zergling swells, the Zergling kind of floods, that much more easily. It goes a long way to helping out. Now, hell of a game here on Kairos Junction. Now Liberators and free upgrades will start from Kua. And he knows this base is down here as well, by the way. I mean, these guys actually have a base within the same screen of each other at the moment. Link counterattack, good raise of the depots, units in choke points, going to help minimize the damage here, and very quick response from Kua to pull back, and very little loss there. But as soon as maxed out, he's going to look for a fight, and so now Kua has to, well, find a way to defend. The Banes start rolling in. It's that Baneling Cat which just wasn't there in the previous fights, right? That's why the game was so messy and sloppy, because he was just constantly trying to get units up to defend, but now he's being given some time. That Baneling Force makes things a lot scarier. Loses this base, and so that's the 5th base taken down. We'll instantly rebuild it. I don't mind him even trying to hold this base, actually. Well, this base over here might keep him a bit safe from run-bys. This base should be pretty good to hold against Ultras with the choke point that you have to run through to get into it. Liberators and tanks should be very good here, but we just aren't really seeing enough of that kind of coming into play. Again, there's not been any Liberators in production until just recently. The siege tank count's been whittled away at over time, and now Infest is coming out as well. With the help of that Viper's Blinding Cloud, it looks as though Kua is going to get broken down here by soO eventually. And soO will just have that little bit too much. I think Kua really thought he could win the game by just continuing to spam those units and push that base. And it did get extremely close, don't get me wrong, but obviously in the end, he just didn't have enough to deal with as, how much soO was able to get up onto the map. GG's, and soO will take game. Definitely something that could happen. So there is some possibilities. Let's see what our Blue Terran player is going to come up with in the bottom right-hand side. He is Kua. And at the top left-hand side, our Red Zerg from Chivo Esports. We have got soO. First 4 points wins this series. And that's best of 7, of course. Just looking to keep these games coming nice and quickly for you guys. Barracks dropping down the main base. Swan pool coming up from soO. All of us getting set up and ready to start off here in the next few moments, of course. Is that pool first, so we do see a bit more of a potentially aggressive opening out of soO. I think it's just one of the things, or one of the ways where you could kind of consider this on this map is that it's such a good map for you in the long run that if you just open a little safer by opening gas pool, something like a proxy Rex then isn't going to kill you, right? And so you're not going to miss out on your chance to play the longer game here, essentially. I'd be extremely surprised if soO was to try and do anything further aggressive than this, than just get Ling speed. Like if you try to go for like a Roach run, maybe like a Nidus could work on this map, because obviously larger maps, it's sometimes a bit harder to scout on, so maybe the Nidus can be effective in that way. Maybe the Terran's trying to be a bit greedy and you can punish that. But yeah, outside of like a Nidus, I don't see this being like a, I'm going to throw down a Roach run and send Roaches across the map, because it is just such a large map. 2 workers left in gas, yes. There is still quite a considerable amount of gas income for soO. Definitely feels like he'll try and do something. It definitely could open up to, I mean, he's going to have 100 gas before, what, like 245 here? So he's going to be able to start a pretty quick lair, an all-in timing of lair if he wants. He could play a Ling Queen Flood, with the Nidus network. Build's been pretty popular as of late. As Kua pulls this SCV back up into the main base. Another command center dropping down, so he is going to play greedy, and this is what I mean. If you want to get aggressive as soO, and the Terran's playing greedy, then it's very abusable. It's something you can definitely take advantage of. So, as this queen pops out, frozen inject down on the main. Again, our link speed is going to finish up in the next couple of moments. But yeah, he kind of mined up to 100 gas, then pulled one more worker out. And now we're just sitting with that 100 gas in the bank for soO, and he's not actually doing anything to really... I mean, he's not doing anything to utilize it at all. He just now starts the third hatchery. He's just now getting that set up. Starport coming into the main base again, that third CC. Very nice and early, and again, without anything being done from that gas, it's not like soO's going to be able to really harass this down or anything along those lines. So it looks like we will just get into a bit of a longer setup here. Even Q, I mean, obviously with the free CC, he's not going to be able to be hyper aggressive to end this game, so we are just going to be setting up into macro here on Acropolis. So the next question becomes, are we going to see bio or mech? And that question is answered immediately by the Stimpak coming down and the extra barracks starting to build, so already able to go in towards the extra barracks. The factory is going to throw down a reactor. And again, there's the left from soO, but not really at any sort of time where I look at this. I'm like, oh my god, he's got to go kill him. This feels like he's going to set up into that lad tech as he's been doing each game so far. Again, very roach focused out of soO so far. I mean, we haven't seen a single non-roach opening. Last game did turn into kind of Ling Bane Roach Ravager, so he did eventually kind of get a Ling Bane based composition up and running, but yeah, I'm playing roaches for the early stages, and very interesting. This is why I really thought this map would be maybe good for what he did in game number 1 on Cyber Forest, where you could maybe play like a Roach Hydra style into like the Broods. The only problem with that is actually on this map it's very hard to push with Broodlords. So while you can get that late game army up and be okay in that regard, then you can't actually make that kind of push, which with what he did in the first game, you're kind of looking for a push with the Broodlords, because they're coming up much faster than Terran's expecting them, so you're looking to punish that. 1-1 upgrades here from Kira, the 3rd CC flying out into position. Siege tank on the way up here in the main base, and this Viking going to find itself an Overseer, pick its way through there, getting quite a little bit of damage done, so yeah, Overseer taking quite a few hits at the moment as it gets pushed all the way down the bottom right hand side. And the Medivacs down through the bottom. Unloading on the bottom left, and going to be pushing up in towards the 3rd base here in the next few moments. Obviously mostly just looking for this group spread and just get quite a few of these achievements. If you can get these active achievements, that'd be really nice. The Queens pull away, knowing that on their own they can't really fight this. That's a lot of creep loss and Overlord as well. Roaches show up, and again Q will get that information that this is a Roach based style, so he'll probably be sticking to the siege tank production. So he's making more roaches. Let's see what he does as he gets out of this supply block. Is he going to add a few more drones in? If he keeps building roaches, I'm almost tempted to wonder if he's just going to commit into some sort of a 1-1 roach timing. Marines load up, pulling back over to the upper side. There's Viking coming through as well. So Viking having a good little look around to see what it can find here. Again, Armory dropping down on the natural expansion here from QS. So getting that Armory up and running. Creep on the watchtower gets picked off, as well as the Lings, Roaches, and Ravages are able to pick that off. And these few Marines on the top side dealing quite some damage to this hatchery as well. The Marines will load into the Medivacs and drop back up into the main now. So drop into the main, gonna see a few more of those Marines unloading, and Kira should be getting ready to go. Still this Roach Ravager force. Actually breaks down a bunch of supply depots over here, so a huge supply block for Kira. soO has drawn past the kind of point I was talking about before, by the way, and well, Sleeping Marines are doing a lot for Q. Look at this, he's going to get Some more overlords as well, just free pickings at the moment. Finally some roaches come back. Nice transfuse to save the last overlord, save you from having to rebuild that there. As you see the Marines loading up back over through the top. And again, just another couple medevacs down to the bottom. Gonna try and see what they can get up to as we do have them. 16 Marines inside. We've seen, I mean, obviously the drops so far have been actually quite successful, so happy to see Cure continuing with that style. Drop as much as you can, buddy. Sometimes you kind of just need to, you know. Drop all the things. Infestation pit building up, a Baneling nest as well. These Marines stimming in, they're going to find this hatchery, so hatchery will fall. Scan on top of the roaches and the Ravagers here, the Queen as well. All of this coming down the left-hand side. +1 melee, +2 carapace. All of this continuing in those Evo chambers as we do have Q going to be pressing around in towards or up the left-hand side a little bit. Going to see again those Lings and Roaches, Ravagers too, all setting up on this kind of centralized position here. Just going to see these couple of medevacs still trying to see what they can do. We've seen a lot of action on this left side. And you can kind of see the creepers maybe halted a bit from it, whereas in the center and on the top, the creeps having a much better time. A few Marines will come over here and they'll just find that tumor before it's done spreading, so that's a nice catch. That's another one as well. Again, these top towns, they have to be so good with these pickups, by the way. You can't just bleed off units every time you want to press forward with a couple of medevacs of units. So always very quick to pick them up, always paying attention to what might be next for them. But this little drop in the back as well, just something a little bit more aggressive now. Just coming over, sits and trades in the mineral line for just a couple of seconds there. Got just away from those corrosive piles. It has been again that switch into the Ling Bane, so very similar to game number 3. A very kind of a repeated experience, but this time, I mean, Ultra Cavern hasn't even started yet. There's +3 melee, +3 carapace, +2 melee, and the adrenal glands. There's the Ultra Cavern. This was kind of the push that Cure nearly won the game with last time around. He nearly won the game with this last time around. Maybe he will be able to do something this time. You see the bio in the center, stimming backwards here. Oh my god, the siege tanks are doing a lot. They're picking up so many Banelings. A lot more Banes getting cleaned out. I actually really like this fight for Cure because at the end, soO lost a lot, and while Cure lost his siege tanks, I mean, he kills a lot of units. That Ravager's going to go down as well, slowed by the concussive shells. How many Banes have we got? I feel like you can just fight this by splitting up against the Banes. soO does have a lot of money in the bank, but he's had to rebuild a lot of lower tech units just as he's getting the Ultra Cavern ready. So, I mean, the one good thing for soO is he does reset the tank count. For a moment, I thought Cure's army could just stim in after what soO had, but that becomes a little bit more dangerous to do so as time goes by now, of course, with more Banelings being in play. But Cure can't possibly, I mean, this time Cure will start free upgrades. That's something he was missing in the last game. And does he start Liberators as well, expecting this to turn in towards a, you know, an Ultra Space game? Because I think that's something which you kind of need to be able to deal with those Ultras eventually. Drop over here will be met by Zerglings. Stepping away, trying to minimize the damage taken. He actually does a very good job of trading out with this. I mean, those Lings will go down. Marauders tanked a lot of damage. Extra Lings running in, though. They will be able to force the lift up eventually. Again, just more scans to clean up creep here on the top right. And still the main army in the center, so we really have just armies all over the place for Cure. Looks like he's regathering for the larger push forwards now. First 2 Ultras in the production tab, but not here yet. The tank will start the siege. Obviously, Cure is off creep here as well in the center, so the Banelings aren't really able to engage into those Marines super effectively. Medevac's chasing down to be able to heal up a bit more of that bio. And you still see some more Lings running forwards here. A couple of Ravager battles setting up. The Marauders coming through as well. Banelings already backing away now. On the bottom, Lings are going to run in, so here it is. They fight from multiple angles. Viper will come through, and a couple of Blinding Clouds are going to be a big part of this defense, but is it enough? There's a lot of Marines left over, and Siege Tanks still standing as well. A big difference to the previous fight, where Cure just didn't have Siege Tanks remaining. Having those left up helps to hold this position. However, Now the Ultralisks are arriving, but Kyo, again, he's much better set up to deal with this time. Liberators are finishing, his free upgrades are in play as well. And so he should be able to deal with these Ultras a little bit more easily than what we saw in the last game. And again, he's got this ledge in the center of the map to push forwards with, so I love it. Gets an Ultralist as soO just runs a bit too far forwards. Bio just being very cautious here. There's no Banelings, by the way, at all. soO has spent all of his money just trying to get as many Ultras as possible, so without any Banelings, I actually feel like Kyo is in the right sort of setup to deal with this, although, again, flanked from both sides. He doesn't have his Liberators here just yet. Kiting away from those Zerglings. Siege tanks getting shot down. I mean, eventually, though, again, there's just going to be a lot of bio left because there's no Banelings to clean it up, and so Kyo is going to be able to push through the center. And, I mean, he takes down another Ultralisk as he goes. I mean, again, now Banelings get brought back into play, but without cleaning up enough of this bio, man, I really like Kyo's setup because now he's got Liberators as well, right? And the Libs will eventually just deal too much damage to these Ultras. There's no way Ultras can fight through Liberation Zones. These tanks are so well placed as well. I'm loving the setup here in the center for Kyo. A couple of Abducts will bring the Liberators out of their sieges. Will that be enough to hold on another wave of this attack? It doesn't really seem like it. The Ultras go down. soO cannot afford to rebuild Ultra after Ultra here at all. And as this base will fall, well, Kyo's army is still just a little bit too big. Another Ultra pops, only to be met by met by Liberator shots in the face. Somehow he survives for an extra moment, but he will go down. soO will fall in this game, number 4. GG's, and Kyo ties us up 2-2 in the best of 7. Game number 5. Let's see what's going to happen. Again, we're all tied up, and we are going to see a proxy Rax for this 5th game. First SCV already going over here on Turbo Cruise. So the top right-hand side looking to try and take this onto match point now. Our blue Terran player is Kyo. And the bottom left, our red Zerg from Chivo. This is soO. Now, he opened last game Gas and Pool before the hatchery. Does not look like we're going to get that again this time around. So this proxy barracks is going to be a little bit tough to deal with, of course. It is going to be only 2 barracks, only 1 more SCV coming over. So with only 2 barracks, I mean, even a gas already, is he going to go 2 Rex Reaper? There's actually a very good map for Reapers because there's a lot of ledges to jump up and down on this side, and even over here you have some options. So it's a pretty good map for Reapers. And with the Rax Gas Rax build, I have to imagine it's going to be a Reaper, right? Because it's, yeah, it's just too fast to gas otherwise. So things a little bit different here for Kyo than you might expect with your typical 2-Rax Marine proxy. Very intrigued to see how well soO can shut this down. Now, he is coming over here with this Overlord, and it is rallied to find these barracks. So he will be able to see this in the next few moments. So you will get a bit of a pre-warn as to what is going on. Boom, sees the barracks, sees 1 and 2. What's really important for this Overlord is he's actually got an area here which he can kind of sit in and get away easily. So what he's going to be able to do, he's going to be able to see there's no Marine coming out. He's going to be able to confirm it's a Reaper. And that instantly changes how you want to deal with this. You know, right away, now you know kind of how this is going to roll. And again, this Overlord just sits here, sees nothing coming out yet, and at this point, he probably already knows, but there you go. 2 Reapers start to come through, and again, now you know exactly what's happening. So a couple of Queens start up, 6 Zerglings. We'll see what soO wants to do. I'm not sure what exactly the right response is. I just know that you do kind of want to respond a little differently to how you'd respond if it was just Marines coming out to you. Obviously, you don't want to, you know, deal with a bunker or anything. Cancelling on the spores here as soO does lose 1 drone, which he cancelled maybe just a bit too early. Ooh, that Reaper taking some damage. I mean, obviously when Queens come out, that will help a lot against this. Link speed does start. I think that's one of the big things, actually, making sure you get link speed up, whereas usually against a 2-Rax, you know, 2-Rax he'd probably pull out of gas and not continue to mine, unless you're going for a roach-based defense. So that's one thing that's really nice about knowing this Reaper's getting the link speed, because in the long run, that's going to help you out quite a lot. And as we do see this Queen coming through with, again, those Zerglings still looking to try and join in. Reaper's pushed up to that corner here, and we will see one of those Reapers going down. Nice shot from the Queen. Able to pick up that kill. Very nicely done. 2 Lungs across the map, just being a little bit annoying. Will force 1 Reaper to come back home, actually, so that's already pretty nice as well. This drone is also having a bit of a tough time and will survive as he gets to the high ground there. Queen's obviously doing a good job of deflecting this up until now. As the factory comes up at home, we will see Ooh, straight into a reactor. Okay, so he's just going to go straight in towards the Hellions. Get those going as soon as possible. As link speed completes, soO will make sure to add on a few extra drones, not letting that drone count get too far behind the Terran player or anything. Although, of course, the Terran currently without a natural command center is going to start that up now, but obviously pretty delayed. So once soO gets these few drones up, he might not really need that many more. The Barrack is going to lift and leave those. So that's something which soO gets to see as well. It is this next little follow-up that's going to be still quite powerful, though, where you've got like Reapers and Hellions together. So with Reapers and Hellions together, you definitely have quite a bit of potential damage across the map. You have a lot of damage output against the early units of the Zerg. So let's see how soO will look to deal with that. Of course, soO, no third base from him just yet. That'll be delayed with the way that this game is going. In fact, he takes it down this bottom side. A lot of the Zergs preferring to take the expansion down this way rather than expanding up here and potentially being attacked through these slow zones. Kind of forced the fight, or the push to come in from this bottom right direction, which I think a lot of Zergs just feel they can deal with much more easily than expanding up on the top, although that pocket expand usually still will come down as a fourth base, because there's no real decent fourth base on this bottom right. I mean, over here is so far out of location. More Reapers and Hellions coming down to the south, so they're getting ready to go. Rotron building up from soO in the natural expansion, and well, he's not going to have that just yet to deal with this initial Reaper Hellion force. Queens, again, that creep force, they actually are going to bring themselves forwards, but there's a lot of Reapers, and Reapers do very well against Queens, actually, you know, when they're in decent numbers. And he's coming in for a little bit of a surrounding. He is going to force these units to go into the mineral line. Oh, well, Q is going to get himself a bit surrounded here. Hellions and Reapers already starting to drop down dead. It's a big cleanup from, oh my god, what a huge cleanup from soO. He lost so little here as well. 17 lings lost in the game, but that's really negligible compared to the fact he's just cleaned up the entire early army of Kua. Kua, he kind of committed down here, and I almost feel like just backing away this way would have been better. Yes, he would have taken a bit of damage, but fight off those lings, and eventually you have space to run still. Coming down here, he just invited these lings to loop around here, and then again just fully surround him no matter what. There's a nice little flank though from soO, and he had the units to deal with it, and that's what's very important in these sort of scenarios, right? I mean, oftentimes you kind of, you know, deal with those attacks, or try and deal with them, and you just don't have the units already set to go because you've been droning or so. soO just having the units right away already made things very easy for him. By the way, this is another Banshee opening from Q. How many times is he going to open Banshee in this series? That's actually pretty crazy, seeing Banshees for what the... I feel like it's been every single game, apart from maybe he didn't go Banshees last game on Acropolis. And he didn't go Banshees game 1, he went Valkyries. But this is the third, out of 5 games, third game of Banshees. Obviously really liking this style, and hey, you know what? It's going to catch soO off guard this time. Finds himself 5 workers, and he's not done yet, although that Overseer is about to be finished, so time to get out of there, get out of Queen range. Again, keep a lot of health on that Banshee for a little bit later. Banshee number 2 shows up, already cloaks actually. See what they end up doing very shortly, as we do have the command center in the main base coming up in them again set up, so third CC going to be ready shortly. Nice, another couple of drones getting picked up here, so these Banshees starting to find some good value for themselves now. They will just slip away with some good health still left on them. Okay, back to this Bio style here on Turbo Cruise. Bio, very popular choice on Turbo Cruise. Again, the bases do start to get placed kind of very far apart, so when those bases get placed far apart, you do want to set yourself up to be able to you know, to be able to go and deal with that. And Bio is very good at kind of denying those bases in that way, so especially with these slow zones and the ledges and the way the map's set up, the Bio has a lot more mobility than even like Cyclone Hellion has. Feels like anyways. Second gets picked off, and again, Kyo just coming around the left-hand side here. Combat shields will start. And Kyo back at home with more Marines on the way out. 1-1 upgrades coming through. And again, those Roaches make for a very good defensive army to begin with here. And that's the problem for Kyo. I feel like if you're up against Ling Bane, you probably make quite a few pickoffs with this little push, but against Roaches, absolutely no way. They're just too good defensively early on, right? Roaches scale very well early game against bio units, where a low number of roaches against a low number of bio is just very, very heavily favored to roaches usually. Unless you mix a couple of marauders, and that can change things up, but usually you don't see that early game from town. You see just marines, which is what we see here, right? So those roaches just very sturdy and able to push away rather easily as corrosive biles. Not really too much going on there just yet. Medevac Cure coming down to the bottom side of the map. A few marines swimming forwards. The creep here obviously keeping these marines away. Let's continue to push forwards. Medevac is going to lift up and get away there. Going to have a couple of Medevacs. Trying to see what else is going on. The Overseer going to get shot down. Yeah, Kyo's doing a very good job once again of just controlling this map with, you know, with the Marines and the drops. He's been very good with his drops in general throughout this series, so that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise at all. Yeah, I'm going to see this just Roach play into the Ling Bane. That's the next little stage of this. Bane speed just over halfway done. Medevac's still loading up a few marines. Again, a couple creep tumors. And really just slowing down this creep a lot though. Like, soO's got his bases covered and this bottom right's doing okay, but other than that, the creep doesn't really exist on this map. In the center especially, it's a short map as well, just base to base, so for it to barely be at the center is a real lack of creep spread compared to, you know, on other maps. Again, TG upgrades just coming up here from Q again. That's set up behind this natural. And we do see, well, just one Zerglin actually going to lead the charge up to the top. So a single Zerglin going to be hanging out on the far right of Planetary Fortress, starting to morph in as well. And these little few Marines and a Marauder pressing through, dealing some good damage to those Zerglins to begin with as well. Just going to be pulling back up to the top side. Some other bio units stepping in as well, and Corrosive Bile not really connecting to anything. So both these players are going to get maxed out, but in a very passive way. I mean, this game, we already see Vikings being made. We see actual Ghost Academy just finished up somewhere as well. Where's that Ghost Academy gone? There was a Ghost Academy, I promise you guys. There it is. So Ghost Academy set up as well. You see Lings and Banes going to be starting on up. Fusion Core 2, so getting into the Liberator range. It's just going late game. We're just going to the late game. Now soO is going into his Ultra Cabinet. He's getting that one Viper out. He's kind of preparing for this push, but obviously there's so much preparation for the next stage of this game from Q now. But this push is not going to be deadly like it was in game number 4. It shouldn't be deadly. So you might lose this one base here. He's got a large army to the top, by the way, so this is only half his army he'll try and defend with. I think you just give up this base. You don't need this base right away, and it's just not worth losing the units to try and take it down when, again, there's no kind of long-term benefit to it. This run by actually did much worse than they thought. He is eventually going to get rid of these siege tanks, but he took a lot of damage getting rid of those siege tanks. I guess now that he's actually dealt with a few siege duck tanks, he does a little bit better, but, well, we actually see him some links streaming in to try and keep these couple of Ravagers alive. He finds one more tank. The Corrosive Biles are dropping. On this side of the map, the Bio pressing forwards at the same time. Cure kind of takes a lot more damage than they thought he would there. Obviously, soO kind of just wants to clean up some supply to open up space for these Ultralisks, which he generally moves into at this stage of the game. Well, he's not actually remaxing just yet. He does have the lava, just hasn't decided maybe what he wants to build. Another big wave of links through the center as this Bio still on the bottom right. Not doing much other than killing creep though, and so soO is able to get in this base very easily. These tanks, by the way, just on their own, no protection from Bio on them. And this Q is going to fall apart here because, I mean, okay, there's the Bio coming back, so he actually drops this army back at home. The Vikings actually land as well, so it's almost as though Q has been setting up for like Broodwolves, etc., and then he's just being hit by kind of more and more kind of low-tech units, and it's struggling to deal with it because he doesn't have much Bio compared to the fact he has like 6 Vikings, tons of tanks, etc. And now that he's lost a lot of his tanks, the Ultras are going to be that much more effective. I mean, tanks are just good at kind of holding off those larger armies when they come in like that. As we see, Parasite coming to the center of the Medivacs will have to deal with this. I mean, just another wave of army here from soO as he pushes on into this. The Vikings still landed again. Very interesting they made Vikings and not Liberators, because it kind of suggests that he really was just expecting this to be Broodlords. soO goes a bit too far though, and Kir will hold off, but soO has just such a large army, such a large bank behind it. His rebuild is going to be very, very scary to deal with. Bio there able to pick up that Ravagers. We see Bio still pressing through, picking up another few Creep Tumors. They're going to start picking their way through this hatchery as well on the top left-hand side. So this hatch taking quite a bit of damage. Medivacs will load up. And again, units just pulling back to set it between the natural and the third base. And a lot more Lings continue to stream in at the moment, and we're seeing these Ultras continue to come through and just kind of sweeping the floor with our Terran play at the moment. I mean, Kira just doesn't have the proper setup against these Ultras just yet, even though he's set up to deal with them, with the Ghost Academy coming down, with the Liberator range setup, you know? He just built so much infrastructure to deal with the late game. He never actually built the units to deal with the late game. Now this is getting a bit messy from soO. Now he's starting to lose Ultras very easily because the Bio units are just fighting one Ultra at a time. A couple of snipes lining up as well here and there. I think that was just one snipe on the Ultra over on that side, but it did survive. Now Q is getting himself the Ghost. Now he's getting himself the Liberators, but is it just too late? Because again, imagine, it just kind of went into everything at once, right? And that's why usually C players go Liberators first and then add in Ghost later, because if you throw down Ghost Academy, 3 more Starports, Fusion Core all at the same time, the Zerg doesn't even need a tech up to kill you. Because that's what you're waiting for the Zerg to do as the Terran. The Zerg just throws the cheaper units at you and you're going to struggle to deal with it. I still can't get behind those Vikings as well though. I mean, obviously those were a very questionable choice. They didn't really achieve anything. A couple of Ghosts backing away here, but I think again, just too many units that are able to just swell into this. And again, Kira just getting those units up, the Ghosts, etc. just that little bit too late to truly hold on to this. And soO will go up 3-2 and takes it to match point in his favor. Game number 6. To the bottom right hand side, our blue Terran player, it is going to be Kira. At the top left, our red Zerg from Chivo Esports, we have got soO. So a little bit of patience waiting for this game, guys. Obviously just waiting for the players to get ready to go. What are we thinking for Game 6? I mean, it's Thunderbird, it's a nice large map. If Kyo wins this map, we're going to New Repugnancy as the deciding game. It's actually pretty interesting as well. So, yeah, actually kind of excited to see what happens. Let's hope for a nice long game, though. A nice long game would work quite nicely, I think. As we get this set up and rolling here over the next few moments, just slow start. Overlord's looking for proxied barracks, but there are no proxied barracks to be seen. Reaper starts up from Kira in the main base, getting that ready to go as he does send one SCV across the map to scout. So just wants to again confirm that this isn't a pool first, so as Reaper can come across the map rather safely here. Know how he can get this set up. So SCV heading towards the top left-hand side. Reaper's about to pop out, and obviously there's going to be a Marine as well. That's not obviously, but obviously a factory is going to be coming eventually. I was just wondering if there's going to be a reactor before the factory. The Marine first, so factory, then the reactor. And the extra Marine just means the Reaper can go across the map safely. The SCV doesn't just go across the map nowadays to scout for the pool first as well. You can also block the third hatchery. Especially on a map like this one, where actually you really want the third hatchery here. Like, there's no other choice of third base. So it really does stop you from getting that third hatch up maybe as quickly as you'd want to. So that's Kyo trying to be a little bit annoying here in these early stages. Reaper pulling back a little bit towards that ramp. Still those few Zerglings trying to see what they can do is pressing forwards, not quite going to find too much of an opportunity there. The Reaper just going to stick around. I mean, still no third base being taken. The SCV gets sent home knowing that he's kind of delayed it as much as he wants to. And while it might not be a delay based on the build that's used during, it stops it from being that kind of 245 third hatchery, right? It stops it from being that little bit of an earlier third hatch coming into play. So just making it something a little bit slower here. And again, I mean, soO was quite happy to take a slower hatch because I think he knew about the Reaper. And that's why, again, the SCV runs back before it gets picked off by the Zerglings. Alright, so Starport going to be finishing up in the main base. What's a port with the $50 donation? Did I say slowly falling smells? You know, Port, we're not meant to bully other viewers in the chat. You're meant to know this as a mod. And again, you're mods, I guess you have all power. You can do what you want. We bow down to you. Thanks so much for the $50. Guess I'll live in the chat for Port, guys. A legend in the world of StarCraft. Some say he has more gifted subs than grains of sand on beaches in the world. Thank you so much, Port. I appreciate the $50, dude. Thank you very much. Some love in the chat, guys. Alright, we are getting into this, though, with the fusion core about to finish. So obviously, this is pretty serious. Battlecruiser is on the way. So getting that set up in the main base. And 4 Hellions on the natural expansion just going to be hanging out here. So 4 Hellions kind of hanging out for the moment. We do see those 3 Marines are going to be able to get rid of this Overlord. So Overlord will go down. And that's the battle complete here from soO in the front of the natural. There go the Hellions add across to the top side of the map now as well. Yeah, Rep and Refit coming down from Kyo. So getting that set up here in the main bases. Again, those Hellions just trying to see what they can get up to. Poking to the front, a few Queens. Going to turn them away. Reaper actually hops up. Unfortunately, the Hellions can't also hop up there as much as they'd like to. But he is going to try and... I think the idea is he's trying to bait the Lings over to the ledge so that the Hellions could get a shot off and get some kills. Nice idea that unfortunately didn't work out. Well, with the Yamato Cannon, definitely expecting this to be a mech-based style from Kyo once again. Very similar to what we saw him trying to do on King's Cove, and which he was successful with. soO went for the all-in to try and help deal with this, and he did fail with it. So, I feel like Kyo is looking for a very similar style. As we see, first BC shows up, we'll get a few drone kills for... I mean, at this point, may as well just kill this Queen before something shows up to transfuse it. Not bad. 5 drones to start with in the main base. Now just backing away up through this top side, and actually we'll find an Overlord on its way through. Thunderbird's a very good map for battlecruiser plays because there's kind of dead airspace between bases, and you can, because of the pocket expands that are definitely going to be taken, you can always go from one base to the other and then force the Queens to have to chase you quite a distance around ledges, which you just fly over, of course. A lot of Hellions setting up in the center, going to come through, picking up a couple of creep tumors already, so getting a couple of kills right there. And again, just going to be seeing a couple of Banes up on the high ground. Going to see a couple of those starting to go down as well. Oh my gosh, he tries to use that Bane like 3 times. Well, the Hellions are just going to dive in. Meanwhile, the Battlecruiser is back in the main. It's actually going for the spawning pool. soO, Hellions are doing a pretty good job, actually, of helping against these Hellions. And the drones are lined up, but too many Hellions have gone down already. 9 drones killed, but mostly by the Battlecruiser in the main, as it is going to get the spawning pool as well. Obviously, more Battlecruisers are built, and the next one is just teleported in on the right-hand side. So you're struggling to deal with this, as that's going to be a Yamato Cannon to get a Queen kill nice and quickly. And maybe soO just is taking a little bit too much damage here. I mean, 12 drones dead. We're going to be seeing the BC picking off this Overlord as well, so that's going to go down. Damn, this is kind of crazy. 13 workers down here as we see the BC. Again, just chipping its way through that extractor. Another Queen from soO coming over. Trying to see what else will happen, but 15 drones now killed. Man, this is really serious damage, and Kyo has put himself into a great spot here to continue into the next stage of this game. So he's going to try and throw down the Infestation Crit. Infestors and Neuroparasites have become a big way of trying to deal with these mech-based armies, especially with battle cruisers. Because if you can neuroparasite the battle cruiser while it's Yamatoing, or if you can fungal growth the battle cruiser, it can't then teleport away. And so you can actually guarantee the kill on it, whereas usually they teleport away, be very annoying, and so on. Only 10 Hellions and a Reaper lost here for 20 drones, 10 Lings, Overlords, Overseer, and Queens. Resources lost, doubling for soO over what Kira has lost in this game. More Cryptumors getting picked off. So we're going to be seeing the 4th command center of Kira in the center of the map. And a couple of BCs coming over to the left-hand side. Like this, he leaves just one Hellbat in the center there, just a scout. Leaves as a Hellbat as well, takes a little bit longer to pick off, so he'll make, get an extra kill or so. But he is just looking to watch things coming over this way. And these BCs, even just coming over this ledge, and these Queens are just like, well, what are we meant to do? We just literally die. Lines up 2 more Yamatos. One of them actually on the sport callers. He actually really wants to just sit in this position and continue to fight this. Infestor pops out, dies instantly. Oh my god, this is soO just... everything going wrong for soO actually in this game. This BC has a teleport to get out of there as well. The other BC is actually just going to fly home. Nope, it actually teleports home as well. Alright, well, honestly, I mean, this army of Kira is looking to be a bit too much soon. soO is taking so much damage consistently through these early stages. I'm absolutely convinced that Kira should be able to... pretty sure that Kira should just be able to kind of clean this one up. I mean, soO is just really all over the place. I mean, he even lost one of his infestors. Now the infestors, I mean, they can do a little bit to help against the BCs, but then the ground army is going to be very strong as well. Looks like we might be getting a game number 7 in this series, everybody. Might be getting ourselves a game number 7. How exciting! It's been a great day of games so far. The Hellions picking off a Zergling on this left-hand side. Again, sets up just another Hellbat to kind of just sit here and kind of watch out for anything through the center. Obviously, the creep spread is something you could maybe deny. I mean, obviously, the creep spread is something he has been denying. The creep is, I almost want to say, non-existent. I mean, there's a few creep tumors. There has been some attempted creep spread, but it's not been extremely successful, I'm going to be honest. What's up, Chancy Franzi? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. First new sub of the day. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. As this army of Kira pulling back down to the bottom. 8 Corruptors on the way out. Great Aspire getting started here as well. Gonna see Ravagers, Roaches, and Lings picking their way through these rocks. Opening up this pathway down the left as actually gonna see a couple of Ravagers. Well, actually the Lings able to surround the Hellbats. Able to pick off that kill. So there's that great Aspire from the way from soO. He's gonna try and get up to Broodlords. I kind of thought with the damage that Kira dealt, he would be a lot more aggressive. He's now building 2 BCs at a time, so he is just going straight up to a BC army. Sometimes he sees Terrans trying to transition into a lot more BCs late in the game, but he obviously has just been continuing to build them all the way throughout this one. A little bit of a different style. +2 missile attack on the Evo chamber here in the 3rd base, and well, as Kira's maxed out, there should be no reason for him to completely hold back. Again, he should know he's been trading well up until now. And he should be able to, again, do pretty well with this attack. I'd imagine he's going to be on a high ground position. Infestors pop out. They drop a fungal growth on some of the Cyclones to begin with. Oh, very nice Corrosive Files actually killing a bunch of units. Hellbats and Cyclones going down there. Tank's going to be pressing forwards. We're just picking up a Zergling or so as we're going to be seeing tank fire continuing here. BC is going to continue pressing through. 6 battle cruisers at the moment, guys. So we're going to be seeing this army of Kira continue to just slowly advance up to this top side. Archery up on the top as well. Getting this set to go as, again, just going to be seeing a tank in the front gets picked off. Here we go. Yamatos are going to line up on the Broodlords. Neuroparasites will then come down on the battle cruisers. A little bit later on this, you're going to see the teleports of the BCs that Neurold bring them right on top of the army so that they cannot teleport away. But actually, Now the BC is actually going to be able to deal damage on top of the army, so that didn't quite go as well as soO had planned. And again, this is going to be a game number 7 in this grand finals. All 7 games here in this series. And Masters Coliseum delivering once again. Again, last season, Masters Coliseum number 4, soO won 4-3 against Pine in the finals. And he's going to a game 7 once more. Will he pick up his second Masters Coliseum title, or will he lose out in the finals for a second time? As these tanks are obviously doing way too much. I mean, this is a fight that's already kind of over. I mean, he's building units that are not really going to be enough. Well, he's got a few corruptors up. But again, I mean, he's losing so much on the ground. The drones are dying. I mean, obviously, the space to the left is now very exposed for a push later. In fact, the only real problem at the moment is these BCs. Well, a couple of them are able to teleport away. Yeah, the BCs don't have enough kind of protection against the corruptors yet, but soO knows that it's not going to be enough anyways. And he types out be our map 3-3. It's been a hell of a series. It's been fun, and we feels like we've had almost everything involved. A real good variety of builds. soO with a very interesting approach to Zerg versus Terran, playing a very roach-heavy opener game after game. As to the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran, give it up if you're cheering on Cure. And the top right, our red Zerg player is soO, looking for back-to-back Masters Coliseum wins. Why would you jump the battlecruisers like that in that fight? Usually you want to jump the battlecruisers towards your army so that when it, so that you can basically get the kills on them. But soO's army just wasn't good enough. Like, he was just already too far behind. So usually that's kind of the right move. But obviously in this scenario it wasn't, because usually you're meant to be able to re-neural them, kill them off while they're neuraled. Just didn't happen this time around, so things just didn't quite go the way he wanted them to. Alright. This map, kind of trying to think, is it that great for BCs? I mean, if you get the line of bases down here, not really, because then there's no way for the BC to super safely harass the third. I guess he can get out over this ledge over here. Slowly saying thanks, Port, for saying they smell nice. If you actually read the donation message on the screen at the right time, it actually says slowly falling smells Port ADSC. So maybe Port's the one that smells. You know? Game 7, as we have this SCV of Cure. Heading over to the natural expansion. Command Center on the way up, a Marine to follow the Reaper. Cure staying very true to the setup he's been using quite frequently in these matches today. So coming all the way over to the right side, and the drone will throw down the extractor, so extractor building up here. And again, just going to be seeing that Reaper hopping around, having a little of a look to see what's going on. Grenade. Knocks those drones up into the skies. Oh, this is nice. soO's going to lose... Oh my god, he's going to lose 2 drones! What happens to? He had the minerals to throw down spore crawlers, but he didn't. That's kind of crazy. Okay, well, link speed on the way up then. About halfway done here at the moment. SCV, Orbital Command getting set to go. Starport starting to build as well, as we have the SCV going to take a little bit of damage there, nibbled away at by those lanes. The Marine able to push that lane back in the end, though. Man, so yeah, at least gets 1 SCV in return, right? Because losing 2 drones early, I mean, it's not going to end the game, but it's obviously not a strong start. You shouldn't really be losing drones to the single Reaper at the early game. You know, these players are good enough to not let that happen, so... Slight mistake there as we hear the clunking of the Simulant Queen popping out. So using these Simulant Zerg skins, but not on his hatcheries or anything, so just the unit skins. I do think the Simulant Zergs are some of the coolest skins we've seen added in. They're very well defined compared to a lot of the other skins, which are just very sort of like, oh yeah, you know, you don't really notice them as much. I feel like I always notice the Simulant Zerg skins, because they are just like that sort of so well defined, they're kind of their own thing, you know? Reaper getting some damage done now. You do see the cloak popping up on the Banshee. So getting the Banshee play once more. I mean, this is what Q has used pretty much every game apart from when he went to the 2-Rex Reaper, and apart from when he went for Battlecruiser builds. So, again, kind of Q obviously just has a very solid set of builds which he likes to utilize here. As the Rotron sets up in the natural expansion. A few more lings out of soO, so just making sure he has the numbers to deflect those Hellions early on. Single Zerglin trying to pick up info. The third CC comes down. And again, it's going to be back to that bio play for Q. I mean, when he's been playing this style, it has been bio again and again. Now, we have seen Q really reliant on very heavy siege tank pushes in this game, in this series. If he siege tank pushes on this map, this ledge over here overhanging the third can be dangerous. It depends where soO takes a fourth. Usually with this third base, you'll take your fourth down here though. And that means that Q will never really get the high ground position to then siege up from. So that could make things a bit tougher for him in terms of trying to get something done. In fact, sorry, I didn't even see the Rotron. My god. soO's actually just going completely all in. Sorry, guys, I completely missed it. I mean, it's more of a pressure. He's already droning behind it. But yeah, he made quite a few roaches and lings here to try and get something done. I tell you what, Kura is not really ready for this at all. His Banshee is on the wrong side of the bat. Banshee number 2 at least is over here. Bunkers are starting to build. Let's see what these roaches can do. A couple of Ravages as well to help break this down nice and quickly. Get access to this base. Lings want to try and hang back from him. The Banshee's not targeting what it should be. A couple of Corrosive Bars going to drop down. We are going to see this bunker going to be in some trouble as well. Command Center also taking some hits. Oh my god, if that Command Center doesn't finish, what a cancel that would be from soO. And it looks as though he's going to get the cancel on the third. That is huge. Obviously, it was so close to getting finished there. Quite a few Marines up this ramp. I'm not sure if there's much more soO can achieve with this. But again, he started droning so soon after he started this attack. I really like that because now he doesn't really need to kill a lot of SCVs for this to be good. Canceling the third CC in itself is already a great start, and a few SCVs he killed, a lost mining time on the natural. It might just be enough for him to get away with this. I mean, he takes a 20 worker lead off of this attack. 20 worker lead. These few Marines pushing the Overlord, by the way, as well, up to the top. That Overlord is going to go down. So Overlord falls. Again, these Zerglings of soO running around the left-hand side. +1 attack, combat shields on the way from Kira as well. Second engineering base, so he is looking for double upgrades. Rebuild the third CC in his base instantly. Again, just losing that on the low ground, it slows things down quite a bit. This could have already been an orbital building up a lot of energy. It could have been rebuilding some of the SCVs he lost here to make up the difference in workers. It isn't, right? So that's again, a very good pickup for soO, who has a lot of minerals in the bank, by the way. Going into 1-1 upgrades, roach speed as well. Again, very roach-centric at the moment. Marines here in the center. Do find one of those Overlords, and soO will be supply blocked from it, and only one Overlord started. He needs maybe a couple more. I mean, he's got the minerals for Overlords, right? So should make sure to get into that. Loses a few drones to the Banshee. So Kira just kind of, well, nibbling away at soO. I mean, another Overlord kill. It's going to be, again, that supply block set up, and yeah, now soO does spend a lot more of his minerals on Overlords. Okay, I mean, with that supply block, he's really stopped soO from droning for a little bit, and, actually Kira's done a little bit of damage to maybe get himself back into this a bit. I mean, again, it wasn't like soO did game-ending damage across the map, and it wouldn't have been good damage at all if soO had not been droning so early on. I mean, soO was droning when his roaches were still here on the map. They weren't even attacking already, right? So he wasn't flooding lings behind it. And that's why he was able to take that worker lead so easily, as we see in the bottom right-hand side. This hatch is going to get cancelled, so the fourth base taken down for the moment. We'll see if that can maybe force soO to take the hatchery on the top side. That is definitely a possibility. There's another Overlord. Oh my god, soO gets supply blocked again. 4 Overlords dead this game, and I feel like every single one has caused soO to be supply blocked. And feelings on the left as we do see that hatchery starting to build. A bit more creep pushing through the middle of the map. Pressing forwards, we're going to see Roaches going to be able to deal with these medevacs. So finally a bit of a better shutdown on some of these medevacs, stopping the Marines before they even get there. But another attack on the bottom right, and soO is out of position to deal with this one. It'll be creep that gets denied first. He's got a, oh, sorry, I'm completely wrong. There's actually roaches on that bottom right hatchery. Didn't see those on the minimap. Apologies. Okay. soO's also going to take down these rocks, take away any advantage you can give Terrans when they're trying to play with siege tanks. soO's all in, man. 1-1 upgrades, 60 drones, Roach Ravager in production, no further workers, no further upgrades. soO's looking to end the game with this attack, so soO's going like super aggressive compared to what we've seen before. As we do start pressing forwards, we're going to see our Marines already going to be forced away. More Roaches and Ravagers coming in from the right. Okay, I mean, it's going to get dangerous. 3 siege tanks about to be a 4th. The Banshee will actually help out quite a bit. That's actually what the Queens are here to help with as well, along with some transfusions. First Corrosive Bowels, and the first siege tank does go down. Next set of Corrosive Bowels, where they landed. They landed kind of more towards the bio army than the siege tanks. And obviously, you do kind of want to try and hit those tanks with the Bowels, because that's your one way of reliably cleaning that up. soO's still just making Roach Ravager, by the way. Again, no further upgrades or anything else. He is committed to this attack, absolutely and truly. Kua can hold on. He might be the Masters Coliseum champion in this game number 7. As you see, more Bowels. I mean, hitting this orbital command. soO, he's going to back off down the ramp. He's still making units, though. I think he's almost trying to convince Kua, hey, buddy, look, I'm not actually still attacking you. Base is going to land again. I mean, I feel like these Ravagers, though, if they do anything, they need to try and get on top of those siege tanks. Orbital lifts to give space for the bio. Also give space for the Roach Ravager, though. Bios to push the bio back initially, and now where the rest of the bio is going to go? Well, the bio is actually getting pushed behind the siege tank lines, but the tanks are up here for so long, and so much of soO's army is getting caught up. He will get rid of those siege tanks now, though. Now he will again just push back to hold position on the 3rd location. In fact, he's going to go down the ramp. He did now start 2-2 upgrades, by the way, so he's going to... I mean, he's still being very aggressive, but he's got more of a kind of a long-term plan in mind. Of course, the Vals pushing the bio back so they can't trade for too long there in the center. A little bit of back and forth. Without the siege tank support, I don't really like it for Kua. Siege tanks add so much into these fights, softening up those Roaches, making the bio, you know, giving the bio so much easier chance to get kills. Another little bit of bio pressing forward. You're going to see Roaches and Ravagers getting ready to go. We're going to be seeing those Zerglings also just trying to jump on this army, perhaps. I mean, at this point of soO, do you wait for 2-2? You're going to be maxed out. I guess you keep trying to skirmish, but again, you've got to remember as well, the longer you wait, the longer you have as the terrain to get defenses up here, so tanks, etc. And even Liberators on the way, they're really nice as well, because there's no reliable way to kill them other than Corrosive Biles, and if you're using Corrosive Biles on Liberators, they're not going down on tanks. And if they're going down on tanks, they're not going down on Liberators, so they're both a very good way of kind of nullifying or taking... They just kind of take a lot of investment to get rid of, and so... that could be very difficult here. Yeah, you can see soO is waiting for 2-2 upgrades. He still hasn't made any extra workers, by the way, guys. Well, I will say, I mean, he's still only up against 3 siege tanks. I mean, I feel like 3 siege tanks are very manageable, because he was fighting against 4 siege tanks for a while last time. The 2 Liberators as well, obviously, are a bit of a difference. The Lings will come in from the top side. There's a lot of depots here. He's actually just going to run those Lings by towards the natural. Oh my god, Bio's going to pull away to deal with those Lings. soO is just going for Corrosive Bowels on the orbital command. A little bit of Bio coming forwards, but out of range of the siege tanks for a little bit there. Bio has cleaned up those Zerglings now. soO's going to keep on pressing forwards. He's making more Lings. He's even interested into a Baneling nest. I feel like he's going to get rid of these siege tanks here. A couple more Corrosive Bowels. Liberators are going down. So the Liberators are now dealt with, and soO is starting to push through this. He's just got that final siege tank to Corrosive Bowl down. Okay, one more now sieging up that's just arrived in this fight. Kua's losing SCVs as well. He's killing drones on the bottom right-hand side. The 4th hatchery of soO looks as though it may fall. But now the flood of Lings may be too difficult for Kua to hold on to. Corrosive Bowels will maybe kill the 3rd base. It goes down. And soO is making a killing maneuver on Kua's bases at the moment. We're going to see these Lings, Ravagers, and Roaches all gathering up together as the supply depots drop down one after the other. And it looks as though soO might be able to clean this up. Yes, he lost drones over here, but he's starting to clean up that drop now as well. He's killed 26 SCVs himself, so he still holds an 11-worker lead. Both players taking a lot of hits in the economy now. Overseers will give high ground vision so you can Corrosive Bowl that siege tank. The Bow's already lining up on it, and that down it goes. And soO, in the natural expansion of Kua, looking very, very good here at the moment, as we see only really a few Marauders left to try and fight. Kua cannot quite hold on. And soO looks as though he's going to be our Masters Coliseum champion for Masters Coliseum number